right, let's get to the Mustang pictures here. There we go. It's Mustang from Stern Pinball. They released this in 2014, designed by that real not good guy, John Trudeau. Art by Greg Ferris, John Yowsey. Software by Jack Benson. There's 4 people credited for software on this guy. Jack Benson, Lonnie Ropp, Tenyo Kleiss, and Wyson Cheng. Sound by David Thiel and Vince Ponarelli. You can grab one of these, according to Pinside, for roughly $4,000 for a Pro or $6,200 for a Premium and LE. So, Nick Lane, what do you think about the art on Mustang?
Gets the job done.
This is a classic. Gets the job done.
All right, it's not terrible. Yeah, I don't complain about it and I don't praise it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's not like the worst I've seen, but it's just kind of like there, right?
Yeah.
So there's lots of cars, some grid-esque patterns, it's very red blue. Red blue is kind of like the color palette here. It's a little orangey, but it looks okay. It looks all right. Yeah, I wouldn't kick it out of the house just for the art. You know what I mean?
Right. No Sopranos. I mean, I'm looking at it now and it's, ugh.
That's an ugly game.
That's a very ugly game.
You don't keep that game for the art, that's for sure.
World Poker Tour and Sopranos are
God.
Yeah.
No thanks. All right. So that's the art. That's what more do you need to say about the art on Mustang? The cabinet art's kind of cool. I think the cabinet art is cooler than the playfield, but it's I forget the artist, but it's a famous painter who paints Mustangs, and it's his artwork on the sides and on the translate. So those are kind of cool looking.
Yeah, and it's let's be honest. I mean, this is a game that I think is more capitalizing on Mustang owners and people who collect Mustang cars. Like that's who I think they're really marketing to with this game when it came out.
Yeah, and you see that I follow the thread on Pinside, so I own one of these right now, and I own a Pro, and that's going to be the model that we focus on mostly. Have you ever played the Premium or LE? I have not.
I might have. I can't remember. I think maybe Todd McCulloch had one when I was at his house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only ever played the Premium on the digital platforms, but that never quite translates for me as far as like the same as like playing the real machine. So this is going to focus on the Pro, which is the one I own right now. So let's talk about. Do we have to talk about the sound? I love you, David Thiel, but I don't know about the sound on this game.
He did the sound on Mustang?
David Thiel and Vince Ponarelli are credited with the sound on this game.
This is really unremarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, the announcer, I like the announcer. He's good.
Yeah.
The voice acting, I like how they got the French guy, right? Like that. Like the voice acting's pretty good in it.
Except for that cruising mode. Dude, that guy.
Yeah.
Joe Chervino loves that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a soundtrack of like music that. How many songs are in the game? The stock.
Depends on which model you get. So it's either the Premium and LE have more songs. So
okay,
it's a plus to get into those. But I think there's like 6 main songs. Plus, there's bits and pieces here and there of other songs.
Yeah, that seems light too. You know what I mean? Like a pinball machine with like 6 songs in it. Like imagine if they had like 12 or 20. I know people are like, oh my God, you can't license that. But at the same time, yeah, 6 songs is just weak. Especially when it's just kind of a crapshoot, right? It's not themed after a band where I was like, oh, I like Metallica, so I'm gonna like all these songs, pretty much, right?
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. So that's why you have Pinball Mix, though. Pinball Mix can fix it.
If there's ever a game that Pinball Mix is perfect for, it's this one because it's like
100%.
It's just and I was talking about what songs I wanted to pick. He's like, just pick songs that you'd like to drive fast to. I was like, all right, this makes sense, and it fits to that. So it's just like. All your favorite songs, they can go in there. It doesn't matter what they are. They don't have to try to mesh with the theme. It's just like stuff you'd put on the radio while you're driving. So really appreciate that for it. But otherwise, it's like the music, one song from each era of the game. So there's one, it goes like from the 50s to the 90s or 60s to the 90s, something like that, or 2000s. And there's one song from each decade. So they're pretty hit and miss. If you like,
Kevin likes the fake Beach Boys.
If you like Jan and Dean, talking about how
Jan
it's a 2-to-1 ratio of ladies to men at the beach. this game might be for you.
That's what the song is about.
It's two girls for every boy. I don't. Is that the song in the game? I can't remember. It's Jan and Dean. They have a song in there, but they have a song about that.
That's more than I want to know. Let's move on.
Skip Natty loves that song. All right, moving on to the toys. There aren't any. Moving on. Well, actually, there is a toy. There's a literal toy, a giant toy car right in the middle of the pinball machine. And if you have the premium LE, then it spins around. That's it. That's all you get.
Well, all right. So on the Pro, there's a non-interactive toy. It's not even. It's hard to call it a toy. Like, right? Like, I mean, it's stretching. When I say toy in pinball, everybody in their mind thinks of it as something that you interact with. Mm-hmm. This you can't interact with. It's a model car that they put in the game, like for decoration. You can't interact with it. Even on the premium and LE, there's still no toy because that just is a lazy Susan that spins around, but you don't interact with it.
Right.
So, like, they just do. They totally phone this game in. This is a game to sell. Like, they're like, we're gonna make Mustang because it's like some anniversary, right? And it's gonna go to, maybe we'll put it in Mustang dealerships, and there's these Mustang people that you slap Mustang on it, and they're just gonna buy it, right? It's like Supreme for like 50 and 60-year-olds. They're just gonna buy it. That's it. That's what this game is.
It's gonna go vroom vroom, and we're gonna put some toy cars in there, and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing that the premium LE has, I think, is it's got those like stand-up, like it's got this Scolari Brothers kind of targets in the playfield, which I didn't realize until I played the digital version. I was like, where the hell did those come from? But yeah, there you go. No toys. Not looking good in the toys department there, Mustang.
Just gets a 0 for toys. Like, doesn't have any.
This is 0. Sorry. Display and lighting. So let's talk about the display first. I actually think the display, the DMD, is actually pretty good on this game. It's got some modes that are pretty barren and kind of plain, but the overall, it's got pretty good dots, and they're pretty funny. And I really like what they did with the dot animations on there. And if you watch one of the bro shows that we did, we were able to give you an early look at the color DMD, which really kind of takes it to the next level, right?
Yeah. You're more of a dot display guy than I am, and you're more familiar with the game. It's sort of, I don't know. I mean, it's fine. I like how they do have like Steve Ritchie in it, right? Like the homage to the Getaway. In one of the modes. That's cool. I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. In the end, Wizard modes have some cool animations in there and stuff. The Skip Natty knows the ratio in Surf City. See, it's 2-1. I'm sorry, I had to go back there. Lighting's it's like early LED era Stern, so it's like there's not RGB LEDs in it, but it's got some nice looking LED, light shows and things like that. The flashes are pretty cool under the big inserts in the playfield and things like that. I would say this gets the job done in the lighting department.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're seeing a theme happening here.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just kind of an unremarkable game, right? But like, not bad, like not slamming it. Like there's some games you're like, what the hell are they thinking, right? Like, and you can spend 10 minutes just talking about how bad or questionable the decision is. It's like you're not going to find. There's just like no highs and no lows. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of there. This game.
With that, let's get to the gameplay. So the gameplay is pretty good. It's got an interesting playfield layout. Mm-hmm. So I think the coolest thing on this game is the left ramp, which can feed 3 different ways. So it's got like 2 lift up flaps on one ramp. So if it's the bottom one's up, it can be a loop. If the bottom one's down but the top one's up, it comes to the left flipper. If they're both down, then it goes all the way around to the right, and it goes into a whirlpool kind of think. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I have a photo of that here somewhere.
Yeah.
Damn, there it is.
No, I think this is the best part of the game, right? The best part of the game is that it's a original layout. It feels original. It feels unique enough, right? There's enough unique things about it. It's a flat game to look at it. And yet the way that the shots turn around in that one shot is interesting and cool. Like they figured out a way to make a flat game of not really big ramps to speak of, and still do something cool. Creature from the Black Lagoon toilet bowl is cool, especially how it's incorporated into the rules. And the drop target kind of push your luck mechanic right out in front of you, easy to hit, but very dangerous. Is cool as well. Like I like that. I like this game because it checks the box of being its own layout, something that I can't say, oh, this is just like that game. Oh, I feel like I'm just playing that game. It's not at all, and that's what makes it interesting to me, and definitely worth playing.
Yeah, it's got a cool captive ball like burnout thing on the right that integrates, I think, well with the theme. It's like you're doing a 360 donut kind of thing. Cool spinner shots. It's got that scoop that you can drop catch out of. That's nice there on the right. And yeah, the gears. And when you get to the later levels of the gears, it's got the stand up targets behind the gears that you have to integrate. So yeah, I think it's got this is one of the parts that really makes Mustang stand out, is the interesting layout. It's fun to shoot. And like you said, it's not like something else that you've already played a million times. Rules.
And it makes it good. Well, this comes into rules. Yeah, it bleeds into it. I think it's got the push your luck mechanic of like, the way you build up to multi-ball is knocking down the drop targets, and that puts you to the next gear. And if you get to 6th gear and then cash out multi-ball, it's great. Like after you get to gear 3, because you've cleared the drop targets 3 times, then you can start multi-ball. But you can also cancel. You can abort, just kind of like what you've seen in Aerosmith, right? So that's kind of a cool risk reward, especially for like competitive tournament play. Like I like that kind of stuff a lot. I like the fact that there's some decision making involved in it.
Yeah, and I like so if you look at the insert rows, so like the top 3 cars, the 1965, 1969, and 2000 are like the harder modes to complete. They're longer, they're more in depth, and the lower row are the easier modes to complete, and the one in the middle bottom is your gear shift multi-ball, where that's your kind of gimme go to easy to get multi-ball. But if you take it right away, it's not that valuable. But if you wait, you can get more out of it. So I like that there's some. I think James said this when I bought it from him. He's like, this game, the rules on this game are way better than they deserve to be. And there's actually a lot of the modes feel very different. They're interesting. There's a lot of unique elements to them. Even like the super skill shot is cool. You plunge it, if you hold the left flipper and plunge it around, you'll see, if you can see think of like Pinball or something like that, where the lights rotate back and forth. And if you want to, like, when the white lights are lit on the A, if you hit that, then that'll shift you to gear 3 right away. So it's like, there's a lot of like extra stuff in here that if you're not really paying attention, you won't notice. But for the home buyer, home player, the more forward-thinking player, the more experienced player, there's more to offer here. Much like just the basis of the game. So if you just play all the modes, there's a mini wizard mode to get to. But if you complete all the modes, there's another one to get to. There's like upgrade scoring you can get to. So there's all these kind of like little side things you can do aside from just playing the main modes, which is cool. So that's one of between the layout and the rules, that's where this game shines. That's the top aspects of this game. Where it doesn't shine so much is lastability, because at least for me, I've kind of seen all there is to see already on this game, and I'm pretty much ready to move it on. I got this in March, and it's like I've been to the wizard mode a couple times already, and I've seen the things. The pinball mix was cool. It kind of brought it some new life, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. The best part of like the pinball mix is it like gives you a whole another way to discover the game. It's like, oh, here's that song that I sent them, and that's what activates this. So it keeps it fresh and new, but that only lasts for so long, even on a game like this, where it's like, I don't love the theme. The layout and the rules are cool enough, but if it's coming down to like moving out Pirates or moving out Mustang, see you, buddy, when something new comes along that I want to try.
Yeah, isn't it like at our skill level, isn't it too easy to get through the game? Isn't that the problem?
I think so. I mean, I don't feel like I have it set up particularly easy. I mean, you played it. It wasn't.
It seemed fair. Yeah. It seemed fair. Neither like brutal. Neither. It just seemed just right. Right. Like.
Right. So it's like I could make it harder, but it's on. For example, Tron. I've gotten into the wizard mode many times on Tron, but I love that game. I love the theme. I love the experience of playing it. So I'm going to keep it in the house. Mustang is just like, it was fun to learn. It's fun to shoot. Once I figured it all out, I'm kind of done with it. So when JJP6 comes along or something else in the meantime that I really want, that's going to go. That and probably Space Shuttle are next on the chopping block for me. So that's
okay.
That's where it is. So any other?
How close are you to buying another game? By the way, like, is it just like you sell one, you get one? Is that like where you're at right now?
Pretty much. I have fit one more game in here, but I really don't like it with one more game. It just gets too cramped. So
okay,
I'm at the sell one get one kind of spot right now.
I mean, with the everything that's going on with pandemic and stuff, like, let's be honest, I don't think things are going to be back to normal for like a year, right? Because you're going to need a vaccine to get really, really back to normal. I mean, I'm probably not going to buy a game for at least a year, which is fine. I mean, I don't need to be buying a game every year, but that's kind of where I'm at. So
you wouldn't even buy a new in-box game?
No, because somebody has to come over and help me move it and set it up and stuff. True. Yeah. I mean, we're being really conservative with the scenario, but it's just, and there's no urgency with buying it. I mean, a year from now, the games that are coming out that we might be interested in, whether it's like Guns N' Roses or Turtles or something like that, they're still going to be available a year from now.
Unless
right?
It's a Pirates kind of situation where it's not.
Right. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Pirates was being sold for a year and a half, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You could buy Pirates for a year and a half, even though it wasn't shipping then. It was still available for a year and a half.
Yeah. So, yeah, like in my situation, I could put a game in my driveway, have somebody come and pick it up, or they could drop their game in the driveway, do our deal.
Yeah.
And never even interact with each other. So I don't have to have anybody help me bring games in on the first floor. So I could move games in and out with contactless delivery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're doing it right. I mean, there's not a better way to do it than how you're doing it. So I think my story might be a little different if I had that scenario. And
it's the ultimate excuse when you drop the game off not to help load it into the next guy's basement, next player's basement, right?
Right.
Like, sorry.
Well, and then something has to leave too. Like at this point, I mean, I guess I would get rid of a classic. I guess those are the first to go because classics are fun, but I don't come down really and play classics because they don't hold my attention, right?
Right, and that's same with me with Space Shuttle. It's super fun. I love the game. It's got nostalgia for me, but I never play it by myself. It's a fun competition game, and I'll turn it on once in a while to flip a couple games. But if I'm coming out to play, it's not going to be that game most of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's give a score to our game here. Let's go back to our score key. If you don't know it or you forgot it, from 0 to 2, you should burn it. 3 to 5 is an expensive nightlight. 6 to 8 is a solid game. 9 to 10, get your wallets out. Do you want to go first or should I?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Well, what happens? What order goes first? Well, how do we mess this up? You always like give it one. Why don't you go first? I know
you want
I'm
me to
go
first.
It.
All right.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this, and I was like, I think this game is like a 6. It's not like expensive nightlight territory. There's a lot to do there. It's fun. It's interesting, but it's like it's a low solid game. It's gonna be fun. This is a classic fun for a while kind of game. I would play it, have it in your house. I would always be happy to play this on location, but it doesn't have the lastability in your home, especially for not for me. If you're a Mustang collector, maybe, but for the average pinball player, I think that's where this game is gonna fall.
Okay. Well, guess what? We're on the same page because it gets a 6. So it just hits the mark of being in the category of a solid game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody came up to me and like, what do you think of Mustang? I'd be like, I mean, it's a solid game, right? Like that's how I would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like kind of shrug your shoulders. Like it's a solid game. It's just nothing special, right? There's just nothing remarkable about it. There's good things about it. There's things I like and I highlight about it, but unless you're, I don't know. It's like you said, you have it for a while, might be able to get a good price for it. You'll have fun for a while, and if you're a Mustang fan, then there's another plus in the column. But it's just kind of it's kind of nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
It will surprise some people because it was easily forgotten about and was nothing special when it came out. But as you've seen, you're not gonna keep it for too long.
Yeah, and this was a game when I got it. I got a few messages about it, like, "Oh, what do you think of this game? What would you rate it?" Because I'm thinking about getting one. So that was the other reason I wanted to kind of talk about it more, because you're right. It came out and people were like, "Ugh, Mustang, blah," and it's a game that you would easily pass over. Maybe didn't give it a second thought, and I think when it came out, the rules were not that great, but it was one of those games that kind of went through a few revisions of rules and eventually got to a pretty fun place.
Yeah. Yep. Well said.